Hello. I hope you're all doing well. And if not, I at least hope that your night improves. So, tonight we'll be looking at a couple of new decks. Hello! Hi, Egg! But, gonna be taking a look at a couple new decks that I got, earlier this week. Actually, I got them yesterday. Why am I saying earlier this week? It's technically correct, but I got them yesterday. It's only Wednesday. Why does it feel like more time has passed than actually has? Anyway. Don't mind me. Time is like... pretty much like non-existent to me right now. But, yeah, no problem, Meg. Thanks for stopping by. And I hope you feel better. Tonight we'll be looking at, the last seasons of the Witch Oracle, the Ostara Oracle, which so far is my favorite out of the series because it's the most gentle of the decks. And we'll also be taking a look at the two Angelarium oracles. So, which I've quite enjoyed so far. Good night, Egg. Also, hello, Bree. Oof. Problem I'm running into now, though, is that the basket that I keep all of my decks in that I bring over to my bed with me, it's a bit too full now and it's gotten a little too top heavy, so it kind of doesn't want to like sit up anymore. So, whoops. I think I need a bigger basket. Alrighty. And also, for tarot deck, we're going with Old Faithful today. One that I haven't used here in like quite a long time. We're using Tarot of the Divine. So, I thought about Cats Rule the Earth, and that was the one that I was originally going to use, but Tarot of the Divine was just like, nah. You're using me, bitch. Alrighty. So, how do we want to do this? Do we want to draw a card from each of the new Oracle decks in each collective? Or do we want to do our like normal collective with the two decks that I'm going to use for the night? Because the two decks that I'm going to use for the night are Tarot of the Divine and the Ostara Oracle. And then after that, do a reading, just a quick poll from like the Angelarium oracles. No, you're good. Queue will be open shortly. I usually just start with at least one collective before I get into the queue. You're all good. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Just one of each card for the collectives. So, I guess we'll use each Oracle deck. We'll get one card from each Oracle deck. The art. I should actually show off the boxes, I suppose. Okay, so this is the last Seasons of the Witch Oracle. I'll show you the cards here in a moment. But, this deck is great. It's by far the most gentle of the series. And it also uses holographic foiling around the edges instead of like a single color foil, metallic foil. It's holographic. And it's a very beautiful peach color on the backs. It is absolutely beautiful, and I love it. And the Angelarium oracles, there are two of them. There's Angelarium Oracle of Emanations. And Angelarium Oracle of the Fallen. These deal with an artist's rendition of angels of the Kabbalah. The reason why I wanted these decks is mostly because of the art, but I've also quite liked them. So the art, ever since I first saw this deck, I didn't know there was a second until I went to go buy it, and I realized I stumbled upon the fucking artist's website and realized that he also had another Oracle deck, and I was like, ah, fuck. Now I gotta get both. The reason why I wanted these Oracle decks is specifically for the art, because just looking at the box art alone always reminded me of, I don't know if any of you are familiar with anything about Magic the Gathering. There's a class, a species within Magic the Gathering like world that are called Eldrazi. And they're like my favorite creatures in that like universe. These look like Eldrazi. Funnily enough, I go and look up the artists, and he's worked on Magic the Gathering. He doesn't, from what I could find, he doesn't have any credits for the Eldrazi characters, but he's drawn a lot of the angels, funnily enough. But these straight up just remind me of like the renditions of the Eldrazi in Magic the Gathering. Like, this artist does like amazing work. It's absolutely gorgeous. Yep. And they've also been quite interesting decks. So these are the backs for the first one, and with the second Oracle deck they switched publishers, so the backs on these are just like glossy. These are a mixture of matte and glossy, which I very much prefer. Okay, anyway. Let's get into collectives here. Let me take a drink of my tea first, because I've already yapped a bunch. I made green tea with elderberry today, because that sounded good. So, alrighty. see. What message do we need to hear today? I hope Thera the Divine isn't gonna roast the fuck out of us today. Because I haven't used this one in a long time. Oh, we're starting off real, real fucking strong already. Oh no. It has words. Apparently. It has words. It has words. Wow. Almost dropped the deck. Okay. We have Death, High Priestess reversed, and then we have Seven of Wands. And let me that one. This one also came out mostly. It flipped over but stayed in, so. Seven of Coins as well. Which is essentially just kind of telling me that, there's some changes in your life here, okay? Essentially, there's some changes in your life currently that are just kind of on the horizon, that you might be trying to resist a little bit. Because this one did pop out, like, mostly, like, reversed, but it did switch to upright. Which kind of tells me that there is a bit of both sides of the card being, like, called on here. Both sides of the, that energy are being, like, called on. So, there's some changes here that you need to be making in your life that you might be resisting, or essentially some changes that you want to make in your life that you're not really following through with because you're left with some uncertainty and you're unsure if you're making the right call here. Okay. And that's where this, like, High Priestess reversed energy is being called, is coming into play here, rather. You're not exactly trusting yourself, and you've been a little bit, like, disconnected from yourself for a while, and if you believe in, you know, like, spirit guides and such, you might be feeling a bit of disconnection from them as well, and that sense of, like, inner guidance. So that's kind of why you may have been kind of resisting these calls, because you're not certain of yourself. And you're not certain of, like, essentially where this is going to be leading you, where all this effort and work that and progress that you've been making, you're not sure if essentially you've, where it's going to lead, if it's worth it, if it's all going to pay off, okay? And there are 2 sevens here, so there's definitely a very, very, strong call here to just kind of pause and reflect. If you need to, do a cost versus benefit analysis, or a pros and cons list. And reflect on what's worked and what hasn't worked, okay? See where you can change your approach to things. Okay? Yeah, I know. I have been dealing with this a lot, as you know. Which is kind of why I just went, into, like, isolation mode a few days ago, so And yeah, there was a bit of a there were some words that I had for guides. Yeah, that's probably why this deck called to me, because it's just like, hey bitch, you've been like using me since the beginning. It's fucking time to use me again, because I have some shit to say. So. Okay. I also do want to say too, I do want to say too, that given the death card as well, particularly since this card just popped out, I'll show it here in a minute. I do want to say too that there is an energy, of course, with the death card, with, there's an energy of rebirth, okay? And you also may have just kind of been, waiting for this, like, rebirth to occur, and keep waiting for it to come, and keep waiting for these changes to happen, okay? And waiting for that fresh energy to come in. I know personally for me, I keep feeling like the goalposts change. And they keep moving forward. I keep getting to the point that I want to be. And then the goalposts move again and I'm right back exactly where I was before. And that might be something that you're also getting upset about, okay? Because you're waiting for this and it's not really coming. You're waiting for this new energy. Okay? Card here is Astrological New Year. Astrological New Year doesn't happen until March. At the end of Pisces season. Which just started yesterday. So. Around, I want to say, like, March 18th, or somewhere along those lines. Which will also correspond with, essentially, like, the beginning of, like, spring as well. The, vernal equinox. Or spring equinox. That also happens on, like, March 20th or something this year. Also known as Ostara, by the way. The name of this deck. Also, hello! Your name was... Ariana, right? If I'm remembering correctly? I think that's what you said you wanted to be called? Yeah. Ariana or Ariana? I forget which way you wanted it pronounced. Which way it was actually pronounced. Is it Ariana? Okay. 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 Thank you. Couldn't quite remember which way. Okay, and I turn right to the page in the book for this card. Oh boy! Astrological New Year. What may have seemed to have an end is just beginning to fully breathe. Fuck. Keywords are starting from the beginning, renewed energy, and second chance. For many, the new year begins on January 1st, but for the astrologically minded, mystic, the new year rings in on the spring equinox. So it'll be like March 20th then, if I remember correctly. The beginning of the zodiac sign, Aries. Receiving this card is like getting a chance to hit the reset button. What you have asked about is soon to get a second wind, renewed energy, or a chance at a redo. If someone from your past has come into your life recently, or you've wondered if you'll ever connect with a certain someone again, then the answer is likely yes. Not only will they make an appearance, but this is your chance to right some old wrongs. No thank you. You will both be in a new place energetically, maturing in a way that will lead to better communication, thoughtfulness, and deeper understanding of one another's needs. If you're single and looking, pulling this card could mean your past holds the key to your shot at love. For all other readings, this card is assigned to review something from your past. While it may not seem like it, drawing this card means things aren't over yet. Nothing is off the table, whether it's an idea, business, relationship, hobby, job, or location. If you want to, sure. I can, I typically ask what you need to hear. And then if you keep, like, that question in your mind, sometimes it'll be answered, though I can't always guarantee that it will be. Typically, I usually only allow questions, for, with a tip. Just because, yeah, I typically just on stream offer, like, general readings, so. Where was I? You still have work to do in this area, but this time either you or external forces surrounding you, such as advancements in technology, changes to rules or laws, new management, and so on, have grown in a way that will lead to a much more positive outcome. Okay. So again, this is that card all about renewed energy. That thing that you've been waiting for here. Oof. But, just know that it seems like there's definitely going to be a renewal of energy here come spring, okay? And that's going very, very in line with what spring usually is all about. Spring is usually all about rebirths. It's not just planting new seeds, it's also about rebirths, okay? And let's see. Oh, I know. I know that feeling. Alright. Okay. And then from the Angelarium Oracle of Emanations, our card here is, I'm probably going to butcher some of these names, I'm sorry. Suklaf, Angel of Verdancy. The art is just so fucking pretty. Okay. So, 1 second. Okay. Anyway, let's go ahead and look at this. Look at this entry here. Okay. Okay. A Suklaf, angel of verdancy. The wind moves through the grass in waves, carrying with it the seeds of growth. It flows across the landscape and burrows into the cold soil. Beneath the fallow earth, seeds vibrate and burst, changing the loam. The transmuted life already craving the open air and the ecstasy of sunlight. It is nature and natural for plant life to seek the sky and the blessing of the sun. With this simple act, the dominion of Suklaf expands. With open hands, Suklaf denies decay and defies entropy. All is verdant where Suklaf wanders. Let your roots take hold, and allow the gaze of Suklaf to fall upon you. It is the season for blossoming. Signs are a branch, a flower, and a seed. Okay, we have an ad break. And we'll go ahead and pause here for a second. Okay. I'll take this moment to go drink some tea. Okay. Ads should be over. So let's go ahead and see what the other Angelarium Oracle wants to add here. Sorry if you can hear that car outside. It's very cold up here. My goodness, that poor car outside. Okay. We have here Cithariel, Angel of Deception. These ones are matte, so I just overall like the deck from the second publisher more. Okay. Cithariel, Angel of Deception. While Semyaza created the flax of truth, Cithariel spun it into thread and wove it into the very reality around him. Beyond his smoothly guided words and expressive gestures, his skin itself brought his tales to life. He was entrancing. The patterns of his wings would flex and flow with his impersonations, making his performances irresistible to watch. The creator for this had more artistic control over this one, which I appreciate. The guidebook for the first one is a little bit more limited because it's translated into like 6 different languages, so they just kind of have to pack in like 6 different guidebooks in one thing, essentially. So the information for each card is kind of limited. In the second deck, you get like a little story about them and a little bit more info. So this one, the domain is his domain is lies, drama, and illusions. The card meaning for this is drawing this card is an opportunity to consider the ways in which you might deceive others, and the ways in which you might deceive yourself. The masks we wear may shield us from the harshness of the world around us, but they also function as a gateway to descend into roles that shade our authentic selves from the conscious mind. Be wary of the stories you tell about yourself. That one kind of goes in line with, like, the messages we got, like, last stream about, like, not letting things get in the way of your authenticity. Sometimes out of fear, we just kind of hide ourselves. Because we fear expressing ourselves fully. And fear the way that we might be perceived for that. But now isn't the time for that. There's absolutely no time for you to hide yourself right now. And to not be true to yourself and be your authentic self and go after the things that you want. Now more than ever, chasing after your joy is just more important than ever, okay? So, essentially what that one is telling me, besides the message about authenticity, is also that you might not be seeing the whole picture here. You might be letting past patterns essentially tell you how the future will go. Okay, and then we have our Thera-pets cards. The truth is, you're far more capable than you feel. Okay, thank you. And I am a work in progress, and that is okay. Okay, so, for whoever needed to hear that message, I hope it helps. Oof. Darn hiccups today, man. Okay. I think one collective is good enough, so let me go ahead and open the queue here. Okay. Queue is open. Queue is open, so you may go ahead and join if you wish. Make sure I don't mix up which deck these cards go in here. Okay. Let me take a drink of my tea here really quick. Okay. Are you ready, Bree? Oh, so goodness, that I just noticed that like collective reading just took like 30 minutes. Whoops. Oh. Yeah. You need to hear today, Bree. Or I should say tonight, I suppose, because it's like 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. What is wrong with my brain today? My God. Ah! Okay, hi. Okay. 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 Fucking Christ. Okay. They're, definitely talking in all caps right now. This card quite literally got stuck in my hand as I was shuffling. Quite literally got stuck in my hand as I was shuffling. Hi, Ra. Immediately followed by this. And then these two fucking popped out together. Okay. All caps right now. You know that, like, fresh energy that you're looking for here. Yeah. It's right here. Okay. So, you're waiting for essentially this just kind of like renewed energy here. Just waiting for, you know, like the good things to come out of like all of this. Waiting for this rebirth, okay? Waiting for the rebirth, the fresh start, for things to just kind of go more in your favor here, and they're telling you that it's very, very close, okay? My goodness. This basket just like toppled over onto me. It's like, the basket's too top heavy now. Anyway. Okay, so just kind of... I know they've essentially been telling you to hold on for like a long time here, okay? Telling you that like, Yup. Yup. I know that feeling. I know that feeling. And, essentially, I know this is something that they've been telling you for a while, to just hold out for, like, these better days. They've been telling you for a while that better days are ahead, and that things will go in your favor for, like, ages. Okay? And that, you know, like, this renewed energy is coming. Whether it's just, like, a clean slate. Okay? And they do want you to know that you're on the very edge of this, okay? With that judgment card, and that this, like, rebirth is coming, okay? Just keep holding on, and just keep waiting, okay? Also, I just saw your message, Kels. That's a mood. Yes. Uh-huh. That's what I mean about, like, the goalposts just continually moving. And it causes frustration, because it's just like, well, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, so where the fuck is it? Why does the goalpost keep moving ahead? But, just know that, like, there are some positives here, okay? I like to think of it this way, okay? Something you'll hear me say a lot is that, like, entropy and chaos. Entropy is like the default state of the universe. Entropy is just another word for chaos, okay? Chaos and order are two sides of the same coin. Okay? And sometimes before you can find order, chaos needs to happen. Nature needs to run its course. Because by nature, nature is also chaos. And out of that chaos comes a lot of fucking growth. And order is restored. Okay? Sometimes shit just has to get really fucking messy before it gets better again. And it fucking sucks. it fucking sucks waiting for it to happen. And some days you just have absolutely, like, no fucking desire to keep moving forward. But also at the same time, you'll never know what the end is unless you keep going. And essentially, to quote a song, oh, I know that. I know that feeling. I know that feeling all too fucking well. All too fucking well. But, yeah. There are also just a lot of things that are outside of our control. And it's best, essentially, to not just worry about it and focus on things that we can control. And essentially, sometimes you just gotta fight like hell. Just to make it through. And just to take your place. But as I was about to say, there's a song that a certain someone likes to quote a lot. I hear snippets of the song all the time, and one of the lines that I hear repeated all the fucking time. To quote a song, claim what you want and take your place in the sun. Okay. No ifs, ands, or buts. Also, just to point it out there, by the way, a certain lady also has a solar energy, because in some depictions of her in the mythology, she's considered a daughter of Ra. Just gonna put it out there, okay? Yes. More than that, though. In some depictions, she's also considered literally a daughter of his. So. But, Ra is essentially just kind of like, in a lot of, like, interpretations of the mythology, he's also just kind of considered a father to all. So. Anyway, let's see. Also, hello. I mean, like, I would comment on that, but I won't. Okay? I won't. Mm-mm. In my experience, okay, Ra's not the one going to be calling daddy. Ra has like dad energy. Sometimes even like grandfather energy. Ra's not the one that I call daddy, so. That one belongs to someone else. I mean, probably won't mind being called that, so... he really is, though. He does have, like, grandpa energy sometimes. But also, he does have, like, that dad energy as well. So... honestly, it entirely depends on how he appears to you. If he's appearing in, like, more of his, like, older state, grandpa energy for sure. If he's appearing to you in his, like, around his, like, 20s or 30s, dad energy. Set, however, nah. That's like daddy energy for sure. But I mean, yeah. He's an interesting one. He's an interesting one, so. Yeah, Ra's around his 30s for me. He appears around the same age as me, so slightly older. That's why he has that dad energy. Well, yeah. That's why I've mentioned the connection there. But, yeah. But yeah, Ra definitely has, like, that dad energy. He's, like, very, warm. Literally. But also, like, in a nurturing way, so. However, the one that's most nurturing for me is Set, because he and I have like a special connection. So, yep, same. He and Set like hugs. Yeah. Ra's very, very sweet. He can be very stern though. Like he takes no shit. He takes no shit. Ugh. Like if it's needed, he will absolutely like scold you and put you back in your place. Oh, you're all good. Okay, so the card we got for you here is Ostray? Going very in line with that sun card. Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much. Pretty much. Like, Ra is definitely, like that a little bit more towards the beginning for me, where he was, like, appearing a little bit older. But once Set finally came to the picture, you get these two in the same room, you're gonna get two completely different energies from them. I like to essentially compare them to orange cats and that single brain cell energy, and how when you combine like two people who essentially match each other's energy so well that they essentially just kind of like become chaotic dumbasses together, that's them. That's them. He regains that spring chicken energy, if you will. Okay, so Ostara. In the darkest of hours, when all seems to be lost, comes the magic of light. Oh, okay. I'll hold on. I did not see that. Really? Those are some short ads. Nice. Okay, I will still wait until ads finish here, though. Got like 40 more seconds left. I'll take this moment to drink some tea, because I've been yapping a bunch again. Okay. Ads should be over. So, Ostara. In the darkest of hours, when all seems to be lost, comes the magic of light. Keywords are dawn is coming, joy, and blessings. Ostara is the Germanic goddess of spring and dawn, and is the namesake of Easter. Those who are fortunate enough to witness her will receive great joy and many blessings to come. Receiving this card means you can count yourself among the lucky few who are gifted with the renewed sense of hope only spring can bring. Pay close attention, as there are already signs of Ostara's influence peeking through the frosty, cold exterior of your situation. What seemed like a lost cause will suddenly show the first signs of your circumstances turning around. This is like so fucking on the nose here. Ostara rules the dawn and reminds you that it is always darkest just before the first rays of light. I'll get to that in a minute. Keep your faith steady and trust in the powers that be, as the hardships and challenges you have been facing are receding and you won't have to stumble in darkness for much longer. This card can even mean finding clarity of purpose and a deeper understanding of why you have suffered for so long. Above all, this is your sign to keep with your current path. You are so very close to the outcome you desire. So about that, a story that I've talked about a lot here. And, some of you kind of know, how I've essentially experienced... Oh, I just noticed my camera is frozen. Give me 1 second. One moment. Okay. Back. Sorry. Essentially, you know the way that I've experienced these two, okay? Set and Ra. Particularly Set. Because, you know, in the mythology, Set is still very in what's left of the mythology, I will say. You very much know that Set is demonized these days. And he's seen by many as evil, and still is to this day. And I've talked about that, and essentially kind of what happened with that, and how back in, like, one of the eras, of, like, power in ancient Egypt, a cult of Osiris essentially thought it would be a good idea, and that he would totally appreciate it, by the way, to go and desecrate his brother's shrines and temples and destroy, like, his depictions and information about him, essentially. And essentially, they changed his mythology in doing so. Because they left kind of, you know, the quote-unquote evil parts of it, the bad parts. They focused entirely on the events involving Set and Osiris. They focused entirely on that and took it upon themselves to essentially destroy his, like, deface his shrines and his temples, essentially, and artworks and other depictions of him. And a lot of the surviving stuff that we have is based on what's remaining of his mythology. They're also kind of missing the fact that mythology, especially for, like, ancient Egypt, is allegorical. It's not supposed to be taken literally. Set is essentially a necessary component for Osiris and his concept of rebirth. His death is necessary for the rebirth to occur. Okay? So. Number two. You're essentially, because after his death, Osiris became known as, like, God of Duat. Like, God of the dead, essentially. God of the underworld. And, like, you really think the God of the dead is going to appreciate you desecrating his fucking brother's shrines and temples? Really? So, anyway. Set. So this card is talking about all about the coming of dawn here, okay? And this is very much tied to the story of Ra. A part of Set's mythology that is, like, very often overlooked is the period in his mythology where he was known as Protector of Ra. He was at the front of this solar bark here, though it was much bigger than this, of course. He was the one at the front of this solar bark here, essentially carrying Ra through the night sky, protecting him from the Chaos Serpent Apep. Okay? Making sure that the sun would rise every day. If you look at that from an allegorical standpoint, Set oversees dark nights of the souls. He carries you through them, making sure that you see the dawn again. That period is coming to an end for you. And your sun will rise again. Is pretty much what this card is saying. And that is also, by the way, why I recommend Set as a god to work with for shadow work. I've essentially given him the moniker Obsidian Mirror because he's great for shadow work. He will essentially show you the shadowy aspects of yourself by showing you pieces of him and reflecting them back at you, so that you have awareness of what you need to work with in your own shadow. And that is the purpose of an obsidian mirror. But yes, SCP Wolfie. Is it okay if I call you Wolfie? But to answer your question, like, people just kind of like seeing mythology in black and white. They like reading it purely at a surface level. And anything bad they essentially just kind of label as evil. And in doing so, they're very much also just kind of denying the very nature of deities by essentially framing them in the concept of a binary, when there's so much more than that. Precisely. Okay. Exactly. Exactly. And that's like the whole like point of like the Osiris myth. But people just kind of like took it a little bit too literally and misunderstood it, and then just kind of labeled him as an evil god. So far from it. He's actually one of the sweetest, one of the sweetest ones I've ever like met. So he's actually like one of the most nurturing, like one of the most nurturing gods that I have on my team. So he's very, very sweet. Yes, but that doesn't mean he's not like sweet and kind for everyone else. he can also be very strict and very harsh and very, very fucking sassy. That sassiness tends to get him in trouble. A lot. We have your cards here. I also just realized the time. I should probably be issuing a last call for Q here soon. But I'm doing fine for now, so I'm gonna keep going. Your Thera-pets cards are: you don't have to be perfect to be lovable, which is very, very true. Yeah. 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 It's actually quite funny, because, like, I know, I like how in the mythology that, like, Set's the one who's depicted as, you know, like, being, like, the most violent one. And, you know, like, prone to anger. And Set's been, like, one of the most gentle ones for me, but the one who will not hesitate to fucking, like, slap a bitch if you even fucking, like, speak to her wrong is Isis. And she is, she's the one who essentially bitch slaps the fuck out of Set when he steps out of line. And if you want to know the one thing he fears, it's her. And the other card here is: you're doing well, keep going. And both of these are very true, okay? Very, very true. Okay? You don't have to be perfect to be lovable, okay? You don't have to be doing anything special to be deserving of love and basic, like, the basic respect that every human deserves, okay? Absolutely fucking nothing special. Okay? And you are doing well and you are making progress, okay? So don't put too much pressure on yourself when you feel like you're not doing enough, because you are. Okay? Remember not to push yourself too hard. And remember not to put, like, a pressure to perform on yourself, okay? Like, I'm trying to remember that myself, which is why I haven't been streaming consistently, and why I stream at, like, random times on random days and don't stream on a set schedule currently. Just because there's a lot going on. Mentally struggling a lot most days. So. Aw. It's very sweet. There is a Discord if you wish to join one, by the way. So, just want to say that. Yeah. Oh, you're fine. I have no fucking problem with weird. Okay. I'm also a fucking weirdo. I'm doing my best to remember to own that. Plus, also, it's for the case in the case of like a majority of us here, it's the fucking neurodivergency here. So. Thank you. That is actually something that Set tells me a lot. And does his best to remind me of, because he's my main guide on my spirit team. So he's the he's the one that does most of the communication. So the one that speaks to me the most and the one that I've connected to the most, though there are quite a few more than just him. But yeah. He's the one who likes sandwiching me between he and Ra and squishing the fuck out of me. With bear hugs. But anyway, I hope that message helps, Bree. Just remember that there is something better ahead, okay? And I fucking know how hard it is to hold on to that hope. And remember that there is something better ahead. So. Yeah. Yeah, I know that feeling. I know that feeling. It is important that it is something that just kind of wanes. It comes and goes. But it's something that will never be completely lost. So. And that does not mean that they're not still there. So. And sometimes when there's a lot of chaotic shit going on in our lives, it can just be hard in those moments to really hear much of anything and connect with that like inner guidance. So. Yeah, I know that feeling. I know that feeling. So, I need to put my lid on my tea before it's cold, because it's cold as fuck up here. Also, by the way, Wolfie, you don't have to call me, like, host, by the way, you can call me Evie. My name is Evie. Well, it's my nickname, but it's my preferred name, so. So, you can just call me Evie, by the way. Yes, like the Pokemon. Though, it is spelled, Evey. So, spelled differently, but pronounced the same way. So, before I forget, just give me one moment here, Kels. Let me... I'd give the new person here permissions here to actually host. Okay. By the way, Wolfie, I just assigned a role to you so you can actually interact now on the Discord. I just have it set up that way just to protect against bots. So... no worries. Okay. Are you ready, Kels? Okay. Yeah, I know. I just like, I prefer transparency and communication. Just so those who might be curious about things actually understand. Okay. Nah. Okay. We have the Empress, 10 of Cups reversed, and 9 of Wands. And I also see 7 of Coins again, so this is calling back a little bit to the first collective, the opening message there. Okay. Oh no, you're good. Communication and transparency is something that I value. I do my best to just kind of like lead with that, so you're all good. And also like being neurodivergent and stuff, I understand like the habit of over-explaining things. So you're all good. Yup. Okay. So, with this 10 of Cups reversed energy here, there's kind of just like a sense of unhappiness and just kind of like, a hint of disillusionment, because like things haven't quite gone like the way that you wanted them to, okay? And there's essentially just kind of like some, just dissatisfaction. Okay, might be a better word here, but I also feel like disillusionment applies here. just because like things haven't quite gone the way that you expected them to, and it probably feels a little bit like a personal attack from the universe. Hence why I use the word disillusionment. Because it's just kind of causing you to become disillusioned with everything. And disillusioned with, like, the path you're on, and what's the point of it all? So, essentially, your message here is to see it through, okay? See it through. I know it's hard, and I know it's, like, difficult, okay? And it might be hard to see the point in doing this, but keep seeing things through, okay? And reflect on your process. Reflect on the progress. Reflect on what's working and what isn't. And see if there's a different approach that you can be taking to things here, okay? Because there is a lot of, like, opportunity for growth, and there's fertile ground here, okay? There's fertile ground. So, it may be hard to see that right now, but just keep going. Okay? Keep seeing things through. And keep resisting that urge to give up. Okay? Ouch. And we have AIDS. So I'll take this moment to take another tea break. Oh no. Yeah, I'm sorry. Ads have been, like, ridiculous lately. You're just one of the lucky ones right now, probably. It happens sometimes. Some people get fucked by ads and others just escape them. It's luck of the draw. It's very inconsistent. There's been a problem with that for a while. But, whatever. Okay, anyway. Let's see what the, what the Ostara Oracle wants to add. Really? Really? Ugh. Hey, Kels. Guess what card just casually, it just, like, flung itself out of my hand. It really wants to show itself. Guess what card just casually fell out of the deck? Same one. That one just ever so gently fell out of the deck, just like I'm here. And then tried to fling itself on camera. Okay. There's the book. My goodness. So we got Ostara again. So. Same message. In the darkest of hours when all seems to be lost comes the magic of light. Keywords are dawn is coming, joy, and blessings. Ostara is the Germanic goddess of spring and dawn, and is the namesake of Easter. Those who are fortunate enough to witness her will receive great joy and many blessings to come. Receiving this card means you can count yourself among the lucky few who are gifted with the renewed sense of hope only spring can bring. Pay close attention as there are already signs of Ostara's influence peeking through the frosty cold exterior of your situation. What seemed like a lost cause will suddenly show the first signs of your circumstances turning around. Ostara rules the dawn and reminds you that it is always darkest just before the first rays of light. Keep your faith steady and trust in the powers that be as the hardships and challenges you have been facing are receding, and you won't have to stumble in darkness for much longer. This card can even mean finding clarity of purpose and a deeper understanding of why you have suffered for so long. Above all, this is your sign to keep with your current path. Nah. You are so very close to the outcome you desire. Okay. Yeah, I know that feeling. I know that feeling. I know that feeling. I've been roasted to fuck lately anytime I do a reading. And like, someone's sassy fucking ass decided to be super fucking sassy like the night that I did like a reading, like the time that I did a reading like for myself a couple nights ago after I was just super confused and just kind of feeling like I wasn't getting any guidance and feeling insecure about some things and wondering if I was experiencing things correctly. And then this fucker decides to just like give me a super reassuring message. And then I was using the Moon Witch Oracle. So I'm gonna pause, I guess, and share a story. I was using the Moon Witch Oracle, and the first card that popped out was like it was Waning Crescent or Waxing Crescent. I can't remember which was essentially like the tagline for that was "It's okay to change direction." And then I felt that there was another card waiting, so I just kind of kept shuffling. And the next card to like pop out was what was the next card to pop out? There was another card that popped out that was just like is one that I'm not quite fond of in that deck, that I essentially just like put back in the deck and said, no, we're not playing this game right now. You be fucking clear, okay? Don't be vague. Give me a fucking answer. And the next thing I know, there's a card flinging itself out of the deck, and it's familiar. And the tagline for that one is listen and learn, and that card is all about looking for signs, like keeping an eye out for signs. And I was just like, no. We're not doing this, that's not direct enough. So I put it back and said no. This motherfucker immediately, like, because I put it like somewhere like in the middle of the deck. Like up towards like the top, but not quite at the top. It was like somewhere in like somewhere towards the center of the deck is where I put that card back. the moment I start shuffling again, there was just such a fucking sass that I felt. And this card flung itself out with so much fucking energy. Landed face up again and, like, came out with another card following it. They were together. These cards came out together. Like, stuck together. Familiar landed face up again, and then there was a card next to it that was face down. And again, the tagline for Familiar says, listen and learn. It flung itself out with such a fucking sass and so much fucking energy. And I was just like, motherfucker, are you really gonna fucking do this right now? And remember what I said about that card being all about looking out for signs? Guess what card popped out? Along with Familiar again. So Familiar popped out for the second time, and then there was a new card that popped out along with it. I was just kind of just, like, giving him the side-eye as I was about to put back Familiar, and then I flipped over the second card that popped out with it, and it was Sign. And the tagline for that is, if you're looking for a sign, here it is. And I was just like, you motherfucker. Like, this motherfucker, man. This motherfucker. He's such a sassy little shit. Okay. Anyway. So, yeah. I've been dealing with quite the sass lately. Quite the sass. Which is just why I find it so funny that this card just ever so gently just fell out of the deck and then immediately tried to fling itself on camera. As it flew out of my hand. Anyway, Thera-pets cards. Let's see what you get here. Pretty much. Pretty much. Doll. You got... You will survive this. You are enough. Today, tomorrow, always. Oof. And you are important. You matter. Got 2 kitties. And one is an orange single brain cell cat. Which is so just like on brand. The little quote here is so on brand for the little orange cat, because orange single brain cell cats are just like complete himbo energy. All they know is love and food. Yep. Okay, so I hope that message helps. Good. I'm glad. And I know it can be really hard to just not give up and see the point in continuing things. Especially with everything that's going on like right now. Just yeah. Aw, this is adorable. Like, and I know that feeling because like I've been fighting the urge to just like walk away from everything myself and just wanting to just like stop this entirely and walk away from this because I'm struggling to like feel like this has any fucking use and feeling like this has any fucking point. So yeah. So yeah, brain has very much been a bitch lately. So but they also keep yelling at me for it. For wanting to walk away, that is. Okay. PP Brisk, are you still here? Oh yeah, I know that feeling. They've had to do that purposefully for me for like about the past year and a half now. Just essentially as a way of like protecting me from myself, in a sense. Okay. One moment, just let me take another drink of tea. Yeah, yeah. For me, it's just kind of hard to pick up on like anything that's being said to me. Which before I didn't really have a problem with until like everything just kind of came crumbling down after an event with a certain someone. So back in like 2023. Um yeah. But I can always feel the energy. And I can always feel them around me. Especially since someone never fucking lets me go out of a fucking bear hug. It's just pretty much just like, I'm still here, would you stop fucking worrying? Alright, let's see. What do you need to hear today, AP Brisk? Oof. Okay. 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 So we have the King of Swords here. 8 of Swords reversed and 9 of Coins. So essentially there's whatever it is that you're working towards here, just know that you, like, your efforts will pay off. What you've been working towards, like, the work will pay off. Any effort that you've put in will pay off here, okay? And you'll soon see the rewards, because that's what the 9 of Coins is all about, okay? I don't know if there's, like, some, like, Swords energy kind of deals with, like, mental state. So I don't know if there's something that you've, like, felt stuck in for a while here. But the 8 of Swords reversed is essentially kind of telling you that you'll find freedom from this, okay? Whatever this, like, block is. I don't know if this is coming from, like, limiting beliefs or something, or if there's, like, some, like, event in your life that's just kind of, like, just kind of hard on you right now, okay? And essentially, the King of Swords energy here is just kind of, I often interpret it as, like, just kind of meaning, like, staying true to yourself here, okay? Essentially meaning, like, doing things for the reasons that you want to, not for anyone else. And essentially being your authentic self. However, this could also mean, like, a need for, like, directness, okay? And, a need for staying disciplined, okay? So whatever you're working at, just keep working at it, okay? And you'll see the rewards. You'll see that effort pay off soon, okay? Just keep working towards it. I hope that makes sense. Okay. Okay. Good. Your card here is Spring Cleaning. It is time to clear from the path all that does not serve you. So that kind of does go in line with, like, limiting beliefs. Because clearing away limiting beliefs is all about, you know, like, getting rid of those things that don't serve you. Because that's why they're limiting beliefs. Card 38. Okay. Spring Cleaning. It is time to clear from the path all that does not serve you. Keywords are clearing, cleansing, and making space. Adam. Oh shit, it's already like 11:30. Hello, welcome back from work. I hope your day went well. Okay. Someone or something from your situation is taking up valuable space in your heart and mind, and there will be no room for anything additional to enter your life until you clear out what is broken, unused, or causing unnecessary clutter. When you received this card, you were asked to learn the art of letting go. It's one thing to know something no longer has a place in your life, but it's something entirely different to physically take steps to release it, and another thing still to let it go emotionally. This is a clear sign to move on and confirmation that what you have asked for is not for you. By setting yourself free, you are also giving permission for the other people involved to do the same. All of you will now have the chance to find places and people that are in alignment with who you are now and who you are becoming. Trying to force your desired resolution will only cause unnecessary stress and can lead to further frustrations and additional problems that can easily be avoided by making this intentional choice to seek healthier options. Okay. And like that's why it's important to let go of like limiting beliefs and like things that are holding you back. Okay? So you can go after what you really want here. And what's like truly meant for you. Okay? So, if there's anything that you feel that's just kind of like getting in your way here, just, yeah, do your best to just release it. So that you can, get what you're seeking. Okay. Then you have 2 cards here. Exactly. Because that's why I frequently interpret the King of Swords here as like staying true to yourself. It's not letting external influences get in your way. Not letting what other people think of you get in your way, or like whatever is going on with like someone else trying to get in your way. Because like sometimes people try to like set expectations on like what you should be doing, and nah. It's all about being authentic to yourself. That's why I frequently interpret the King of Swords that way. So you have 2 cards here from the Thera-pets deck. You have You Will Rise Above the Ashes, You Will Find a Way to Become Whole Again, and You Are Strong Enough. So in other words, you got this shit. Oof. Okay, so I hope that message helped. Yes. Good. I'm glad. Okay, before I forget, because I just like looked at the time like a few minutes ago, I should probably issue a last call here for the queue. So if you want to join the queue, you may still go ahead and do so. I'll leave it open for a few more minutes. Hello. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I need to stretch my legs. Been sitting in like the same place just about for it's like 2 hours now. Whoops.
Stretch the leggies.
Thank you. And thank you for the resub. Oh. Okay. Okay. Are you ready, Adam? Okay. Oh, we have ads. So I guess that means tea break. It's good green tea. I made green tea with elderberry before stream, so it's quite delicious. Yeah. I also just realized I forgot to. Yes. Okay. It's better. Okay. Let's see. What do you need here today? Oh my goodness. Okay. We have interesting. 7 of coins. 8 of coins. And the sun. Ra says hello again, apparently. He flung himself out again. But anyway, essentially this is just kind of... Thank you. Essentially the message here is to just essentially, there's still some work to do before, the end goal here, okay? But trust that you're making progress, okay? And I do believe that you're finally just kind of starting to get results that you are making progress. Results that show that you are making progress, that is, rather. So, you do still need to continue putting in the work here with the 8 of coins, okay? There's still some work to be done here before you reach that end goal, okay? But just know that the end goal is close here. But before then, take the time to pause and reflect to see what you'll need to push you across the finish line, okay? Because there are better days ahead. The end goal is in sight, okay? Keep your eyes on the prize. Okay? Just keep your eyes on the prize. Would you do me a favor, by the way? Would you close queue really quick? Before I forget. Thank you. Okay. Ooh, darn hiccups. Okay. We have here daffodils. The whispers that inspire are shifting towards you in a melody of creative blooms. Keywords here are renewal, vitality, and inspiration. Ostara is looking at your heels when you begin to see bright, jubilant daffodils peeking through the snow. Gaze upon them and notice their trumpet-like shape, as though Mother Earth created them specifically to announce the return of spring and the end of the uninspired, stuck energy of winter. Just as winter represents stagnation, you may have experienced a similar energy presenting itself as a block, lack of growth, loss of motivation, or sense of weariness in the face of life's demands. The birth flower of March has arrived to announce the shifting of your seasons. It is an invitation to embrace your current changes with optimism. Reconnect with your inner vitality by planting the seeds of creativity and inspiration. You may rediscover a forgotten hobby, delight in new adventures, or simply take in the wonder of the beauty all around you. Each passing breeze or little sprout can offer a source of inspiration and renewed energy. Providing an outlet for self-expression naturally puts your mind and spirit in a period of growth. Remedies to problems will suddenly appear, and you will have the answer you desire. Until that time comes, allow yourself to reconnect with your passions as a source of fuel for fresh solutions. Okay, so this one also does have that element of renewed energy here, coming along with spring, okay? But there's also an emphasis here on, like, just reconnecting with that sense of, like, optimism and hope, okay? Do things just for fun, okay? And sometimes that's just kind of all that's needed in these, like, moments for pause and reflection. Is to just not only to take a break and reassess things, but also just take a break. and just have fun. Because taking a break from the, you know, like daily grind is just necessary. So, you already know how I feel about, how society as a whole just kind of views productivity and tells you that rest is just lazy and never necessary, but that's a lie. Taking time to rest is one of the most productive things that you can do for yourself, and it's a necessary step in productivity, because you can't always go, go, go. There's a time for putting your nose down to the grindstone, and there's a time for pause. Okay. We have you are enough today, tomorrow, always. You're also doing enough, okay? There's no need to be so hard on yourself. You're managing as best as you can. So, you are enough, and you're doing enough. You're trying your best, and that's all that matters. Okay. So I hope that message helps. Good. I'm glad. Okay. Let me take a moment to drink some tea. Okay. Okay. Are you ready? Hello. Are you ready? Okay. Let's see what you need to hear today. Okay. This guy apparently really wants to pop out a lot. I just saw one of the cards that popped out here. Okay. This is apparently the theme today, it seems. Okay. We have again, the 7 of coins, followed by the 8 of coins, and the magician this time. So, tonight's theme apparently is all about reflecting. Pausing and reflecting on the progress and the process. And seeing what's working and what isn't. So, as I said, the message here is all about, like, just kind of checking in with yourself. Take some time to pause, reflect on your progress, reflect on the progress and the process, and see what is working and what isn't working, okay? And then move forward with essentially your results from that reflection, okay? Once you know what is working and what isn't, you can move forward in a more empowered way, knowing what you should be focusing on and where you should be placing that energy, okay? And essentially, like, the key theme here is that magician, which is all about, like, manifestation and just working towards your goals, okay? And, like, that's been a big theme lately, is just kind of going after, like, what you want, okay? Because there ain't time for anything else. Very much just kind of like now or never vibes this year. So, just pause and reflect, okay? Pause and reflect on what is and isn't working for you, and try adjusting, making those adjustments once you begin to see what is and isn't working, okay? So that you can move forward in a more empowered way to get to where you want to be, to get to the end goal here, okay? It's all about placing the energy where it's best used, okay? Where it's needed most. Ooh. Hiccups. Goodness. Okay. Let's see here. We have lamb. Okay. Lamb. Nothing is ever late, and everything is as it should be. Trust the salve. Why does that remind me of Gandalf? The opening with nothing is ever late. A wizard is never late. He arrives precisely when he means to. Oh god, I just realized the magician! Fuck. Okay. Keywords here are gentleness, patience, vulnerability, thank you, and trust. Lambs or young sheep are associated with the more Christian version of Ostara, or Easter, but still beautifully represent the early days of spring. They symbolize purity, or innocence, purity, and vulnerability, just like the first sprouts of a seed. Yeah, probably. Lambs are trusting and submissive by nature, and will approach your hand with joy and gentleness, waiting patiently for you to share your love with them. When this card eases into your reading, it is to encourage you to approach your desires with the same gentle energy. Yeah, we can't force things. Sometimes we do just kind of need to take a little bit more of a gentle, relaxed approach to things. When planting a seed, you must learn to trust that it will sprout when the time is right. Be patient, my darling. Your desire is still yours for the taking, but it is taking its sweet time and making sure the conditions are right. You are being asked to trust in the path you have found yourself upon. Divine timing is at work here. However, you may find your journey will move along just a bit faster by openly communicating your desires and needs. Open yourself up to help from those around you, allowing yourself to be vulnerable and free in your expression. Recognize the power of allowing yourself to be seen. By sharing your feelings, you create opportunities for others to support your needs. I love that. That's beautiful. This is by far, like, my favorite deck out of this series, because this is part of a series of 8 decks following the seasons. Seasons of the Witch. It follows, like, every Sabbat. There's a deck for each Sabbat in the Wheel of Seasons. This is the last one that they just released earlier this month. This is by far my favorite because it is the most gentle of any of the decks. It is absolutely just sweet. It's so sweet and so gentle. It is my favorite deck by far. The most harsh is Samhain. That one will rip you to shreds. Funnily enough, that was the first one that was made. So, quite a journey that these decks have went on over the years. Okay. And let's see. I love it. It was perfectly in line with that card there. Your speed doesn't matter, forward is forward. Absolutely. Progress is progress. And you are capable, you can do this. Okay, so I hope that message helps. Yes, I love this deck. This is like the first deck I will recommend to anyone, even if you're not necessarily someone who reads tarot yourself. If you want like a really cute like deck of affirmations, this is called the Thera-pets deck. It wasn't created for this purpose, but it's one that I use for this purpose because it has so many very just much needed affirmations. And a bunch of adorable animals. Of course, thank you for stopping by. And I'm glad the message helped. Okay. And now it's time for our closing message. Ad break starting in about 2.5 minutes, so I should be able to get through the tarot cards hopefully before ads run. So let's see. What message do you want to close us out with today? Okay. We have the Nine of Swords, Ace of Swords reversed, and Two of Cups. So, essentially, the message here is, let go of this anxiety that you may have been feeling, okay? I get the feeling that you've probably been a bit too in your head lately, given, like, both the Nine of Swords and the fact that the Ace of Swords is reversed. Because the Suit of Swords is all about mental state. So, release these anxieties. Try to pull back a little bit and get out of your head, okay? And, particularly, like, to the best of your abilities, if you're one of those people that's essentially just kind of, your mental state is just absolute fucking ass right now, just due to everything that's going on in your life and outside of your life, okay? And you're struggling with, like, just, like, a really heavy mental load and, like, spiraling thoughts, okay? Try to pull back from that thought spiral a little bit, okay? And don't be afraid to go connect with others and go spend time with others, okay? Share your feelings. Share your thoughts with others. Those that care for you, okay? Friends, partners, family that you trust, okay? Community right now is super fucking important, okay? Super fucking important. So don't be afraid to rely on others. And be open with others, okay? And ads started, so I will pause right here. Picked up the deck and just instinctively knocked on it because I was about to go start shuffling. Let me just put it down and drink tea instead. It is good tea, yeah. I love tea. I have so much tea. I'm not even joking. I have so much tea. Tea is something that I buy a lot of, and that I have a large variety of because I drink a lot of it, and it's something that's very soothing to me, and it's a part of my self-care routine. Though I can't really call it a routine. It's something I do for self-care when I, like, really need it. So. Because I'm terrible with routines. So I can't exactly call it a self-care routine. It's just something I do for self-care when I need it, and I can actually break out of the fucking executive dysfunction. Alright, let's see what the Oracle deck wants to add here now that we're out of break. Okay. My goodness. Those just shot out so fucking quick. Okay. We have 3 cards here. Okay. I'm gonna take all 3. Normally I would put at least one back, but we'll take all 3. So we have daffodils. Then we have Peach Moonstone. Exactly, they said, we're here, we got words, here they are. Okay, so daffodils. Okay. The whispers that inspire are shifting towards you in a melody of creative blooms. Keywords are renewal, vitality, and inspiration. This is the one that Adam got, so same message here applies. And I'll repeat that at the end. Ostara is looking at your heels when you begin to see bright, jubilant daffodils peeking through the snow. Gaze upon them and notice their trumpet-like shape, as though Mother Earth created them specifically to announce the return of spring and the end of the uninspired, stuck energy of winter. Just as winter represents stagnation, you may have experienced a similar energy presenting itself as a block, lack of growth, loss of motivation, or sense of weariness in the face of life's demands. Mood. The birth flower of March has arrived to announce the shifting of your seasons. It is an invitation to embrace your current changes with optimism. Reconnect with your inner vitality by planting the seeds of creativity and inspiration. You may rediscover a forgotten hobby, delight in new adventures, or simply take in the wonder of the beauty all around you. Each passing breeze or little sprout can offer a source of inspiration and renewed energy. Providing an outlet for self-expression naturally puts your mind and spirit in a period of growth. Remedies to problems will suddenly appear and you will have the answer you desire. Until that time comes, allow yourself to reconnect with your passions as a source of fuel for fresh solutions. So, definitely take some time to just kind of, definitely go take some time to go do something fun for yourself, okay? Go do something fun, go do something that makes you just kind of feel alive, okay? And also, if this is something that you're waiting for, is like this just kind of like renewed spark, this renewed passion to go like chase after like the things you want, like renewed inspiration and stuff, okay? All that stuff. Trust that you will reconnect with it again, okay? Like, I specifically given like the messages that we've had tonight, I do get the sense that spring is definitely going to be a season of renewal for many of us, okay? So, and I know I personally have felt something just on the horizon for like quite a while now, which is part of what's been making me feel so antsy. So, so, just remember, patience, okay? Patience and trust. And then Peach Moonstone, which was one of the cards I got when I like first used this deck to do like a deck interview. Peach Moonstone. There is reason in the flow of what is and what needs to be. Keywords are awakening feminine energy, embracing love, and heightened intuition. Going very in line with that like first message that we got about like reconnecting with the self even, and reconnecting with that sense of inner guidance. Funnily enough, the High Priestess energy was my card of the month for February, so. And I've definitely been feeling that inkling again. Like all moonstones, the peach variety is a symbol of the moon, an expression of feminine energy, psychic gifts, and spiritual healing. Peach Moonstone, however, has an additional layer of open-heartedness and represents all things soft, and opening yourself up to the rhythms of life. It has appeared in your reading to invite you to learn the art of receiving, to flow rather than force, and to wait for the answer to appear instead of seeking it out. Just like the moon, guidance will appear in phases, flowing through the various degrees of darkness and illumination. This card will often appear when you are too eager to see forward movement, when you have been guided to let things progress in their own time. Slow down, darling. What is right for you will find you in due course. Clarity will arrive with divine timing, not a second before. Embrace the love and beauty of your current cycle, knowing every experience has its worthy lesson to teach. You may wish to carry a piece of peach moonstone with you for a period of 4 weeks to remind you to lean into a more feminine expression of your being. Your gender identification has nothing to do with how you express your feminine nature. All beings, man, woman, non-binary, and other, have this quality within and can use it to their benefit. That's actually kind of funny. Something I'm not really sure I've mentioned before, but that's actually kind of a way that I actually experience Set. I use he a lot, but he leans a little bit more towards like non-binary. He doesn't use labels though. He just says that he is what he is. He is himself. And he appears more masculine than anything. But he also has a feminine side. Like he wears lip gloss and lip tints all the time. And he also wears black lipstick usually when I do readings and when I stream. And it took me like quite a while to realize where that urge to do that myself was actually coming from. Because from nearly the beginning of like starting streaming, anytime I went to go stream, I always had the strongest urge to put on black lipstick, and I never understood why. Until one night, I actually had a dream where he was looking in a mirror and actually applying lipstick. He also wears dresses occasionally, because it makes him feel pretty. So, yeah. He's quite an interesting character. Hell yeah. I love like men who are like comfortable enough to just wear like dresses or just whatever the fuck they want. Cause like clothes don't have a gender. Why are you gonna fucking confine yourself to that, man? Wear whatever the fuck you want. Like, but at the same time, I also respect people who actually like sticking to rigid gender, like gender what's the word I'm looking for? Expression. Like, people like sticking to, you know, like, people like sticking to, you know, the, like, set gender expression and gender roles, and there's nothing wrong with that. But also at the same time, like, like, there's value to just seeing gender as a fucking construct and literally having, like, no meaning. Like, absolutely. Like, and the funny thing is that skirts were originally something that men did wear. Because it makes sense. They have the dangly bits. Usually. It makes more sense for them to have freedom. like I forget the name of the skirt, but like, or the garment, but like even just looking back at like fucking ancient Egypt, like the garment that I see them wear most often, like the like deities that essentially like are around me. Um well, yeah, for like in like Scottish history, yes, but it goes back even further than that, back to like ancient Egypt. There's like a little like skirt-like garment that they wear that I can't remember the name of. And that's usually what I see most of them wear. Um, and that's about usually all that set has on for me, other than the occasional dress, apparently. So I should mention that I have aphantasia, so I actually, when I go to visualize anything in my mind, I don't see anything. And that kind of unfortunately extends to, like, other things. However, I see them a lot in dreams, so that's how I kind of, like, pick up on other things. But also, my ex-partner, and, like, best friend, Adam, who may still be in the chat here, he sees them. He sees them all. He sees everything. So he kind of functions as my eyes. So that's how I've actually kind of confirmed some of these things, is by asking him questions. And that's how I've indeed found out that, like, that's literally how, like, some of them, like, express themselves. Particularly, like, the things that I just mentioned involving Set. Yeah. It's all good. I usually have, like I said, I have Adam for that. So, we're still very close. We're still, like, best friends, and I still, like, pretty much spend most of my time with him. So, yeah. Ugh. Ouch. But, I will say, though, that, it's not always, like, despite the aphantasia, I will still see things occasionally. Just not all the time. Like, they will show me things occasionally. So, it's just not something that I experience, like, all the time. So, like, one of the first things I saw was actually him. And he still has on, he still has on, like, the eyeliner all the time in, like, a navy blue color. He may have modernized it a little bit, but he still wears, he wears, like, a blend. It's a mix of, like, modernized eyeliner, like cat eye eyeliner, and, like, the stuff that they would have worn during their time in ancient Egypt. like stuff that's associated with, you know, like what people would have worn then in ancient Egypt. Because they most certainly had like eye pigments that they wore as like eyeliners and also as like just makeup. The thing is, like, for them, the eyeliner actually had a purpose, like a functional purpose. It kept the sun out of their eyes. Helped keep the sun out of their eyes, rather. But, yeah. Ugh. Okay. And our last card here is Jasmine. It is through yourself that divinity is able to weave magic. Keywords are manifestation, soul star chakra, and divinity. The moon is a powerful symbol of manifestation, and there is no plant more closely aligned with the moon's energy than night-blooming jasmine. Its seductive fragrance dances on the crisp night air while white blossoms shine bright in the moonlight, inviting you to connect your earthly plan with the divine. It is your call to recognize your role as the co-creator of your life. Your thoughts and actions are always communicating with spirit, drifting off into the ether to manifest in some way or another. Like the sweet fragrance of jasmine, there will be times when you might not smell it at all, and then suddenly the alluring scent will find its way to your nose. Thoughts are much the same. There's no reason to try to control every thought that passes. Yes, abso-fucking-lutely. But you can learn to reframe a thought when one catches your consciousness, and instead choose the more empowering option. As you shift your narrative, your situation will also experience a change. Additionally, Jasmine encourages you to find self-reverence and express your divinity. There's one thing that I will add to that, though, and that's that, one, no amount of reframing your thoughts is going to help you when capitalism is literally trying to crush you. And number two, there's no amount of reframing your thoughts that will help people who suffer from neurological imbalances. Okay? So, don't be too hard on yourself. That is an important distinction that needs to be made that far too many people do not make. Okay? Need to stretch my leggy there for a second. Okay. Okay, we got 4 cards from the Thera-pets deck. I feel like these last 2 are going to go in line with this card here, the 9 of Swords. Okay? The first one is you are going to get through this just fine, and it's adorable little axolotl. just do your best. It will be enough. Again, trying your best is all that matters, okay? Especially in, like, situations where you have no control. So, here's a friendly reminder that the negative voice in your head is not you, and you are actually completely delightful. And you are not a burden. We are lucky to have you. And these two are definitely going very, very in line with that Nine of Swords energy. Because I don't know about anyone else, but my flavor of mental hell lately has been a combination of these two things. There are some days I've just wanted to give up on, like, everything, so. Including, you know, the not so healthy one about wanting to give up on life, but I'm not gonna get too much into that one. But, yeah. Just doing my best to just push through. I will be okay, I do just want to assure you of that, okay? Like, without going too much into detail, okay? In all my life, and I've been suffering from depression and other mixture of, like, PTSD and, like, other things since I was a fucking kid, okay? I've never gotten to the planning stage, and that's all I'm gonna say about that, okay? Ideation only. So. Just, yeah. I will be fine. It just sucks in my head right now, so. Thank you. But, yeah. So, I don't want anyone to worry too much about me, okay? I will be okay. Just trying to take it day by day. And trying to come back to streaming when I can. So. I probably will not really be able to stick to, like, my regular schedule. And there are times I'm probably, if I do stream, I'm probably gonna be kinda late, like I did tonight, though. Tonight isn't normally a night that I stream anyway, but I just felt like it, because I felt the urge, like, really strongly. So. Yeah, I know the feeling. Set tries to tell me all the time to not worry about him, but I'm just like, bitch. How am I supposed to do that? I care about you. I love you. How am I supposed to not worry? Of course, that applies to, you know, like, literally anyone else that I care for in my life, so I know the feeling, but I want to reassure people that you don't have to worry about, like, anything like that, anything terrible happening, so. It's just been a lot of mental struggle going on, which just kind of gets in the way from me being in the right space to stream and having the motivation and energy to stream, which is why I've been like absent so much lately and just been kind of silent. Also, we have an ad break right now, so. I'm just gonna take this moment to sip more tea. Also, whoops, I just realized it's like 12:30. Whoops. I definitely went a lot longer than I intended to. But also, I don't really care. I definitely did not intend to stream for like 3 hours, and I like how I said that it's just gonna be a short Terra stream, and then I streamed for like 3 hours. But, that's okay. I don't care. Streaming actually helped a lot today. I was going to go live a little bit earlier, but I struggled with, like, anxiety for an hour. Before I was actually able to, like, start stream. Yeah. So. Yeah. Like I was saying, though, I can't guarantee that I'll always, like, be up to streaming. Like, on my, like, regular schedule, but, for now, anyway. But I will try to, I will try to stream occasionally. I just can't promise any regularity in my streaming. Because, like, trying to stick to a schedule is just, like... It's just really not possible for me right now. And, like, I mean, those who have been around for a while know that, like, things just got increasingly difficult for me back in, like, December after, like, the loss of my best friend. And then got worse again in, like, fucking January when when I got what she left for me in her will, so it's been a rough few months. Things are already pretty rough before then, but kind of got worse back in December, so. But, it's okay. I'm doing slightly better in that regard. It's just that there's a lot of other things going on that have just weighed on me pretty heavily, but, that's why I'm doing my best to just disengage. Disengage from things. I may have taken that a step too far recently, but it's okay. I'll come back to what I need to soon. But yeah. So, for anyone else who just may be kind of struggling right now, especially for those of you who live in the US and are just kind of worried by everything that's going on, my only advice to you right now that I can give is to disengage. Overwhelming you is the point. Disengage. Doesn't mean ignore what's going on. Check in occasionally. And do what you can to fight. But disengage. Keeping you distracted, keeping you overwhelmed, keeping you exhausted is the point. Anyway, with that, it is unfortunately time for me to call it here, as it's very late, and I should be winding down so I can go to bed soon, because it's nearly 1 a.m. here. Not that I have any, like, schedule to stick to. So, and my sleep schedule's like fucked right now, so it doesn't make a difference for me, but still. I should be going to wind down for the night. I definitely streamed a little bit longer than I intended to, but that's okay. Yup. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, with that, unfortunately, it is time for me to call it here so I can go rest. Probably go get a small snack. And go wind down for the night. But thank you all for stopping by. Whether you joined the queue, talked in chat, or just lurked, I appreciate you sharing your time with me. I hope to see you all again soon, but bye for now.